right, everyone ready for action? I'm declaring this ready for action. Yes. All right. Good afternoon. Hey, it's working. All right, welcome everyone. I'm Sheila Simon, the chair of the Classroom's First Commission, and to officially welcome you to Heartland College, I'd like to introduce you to President Ellen Gobin.
Thank you so much. I'm Alan Gobin, president of Heartland Community College, and on behalf of our students, our faculty, staff, administration, and our board of trustees, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Heartland Community College campus for this evening's event. I want to acknowledge a few people here. We have several of our K-12 superintendents I see in the audience, and we appreciate our great relationship with you, and glad you're here. I also want to thank and acknowledge one of our own Board of Trustees members who's in attendance, Mr. Steve Graham, is with us tonight. So Steve, welcome and thank you for being here. I have the pleasure, outside of my day job, of serving on the 21st Century Commission for the Future of Community Colleges. And one of the comments that was made recently at a meeting was by a good friend and colleague, Dr. Mark Milliron. Mark said, "In our society, we operate on an agrarian calendar and an industrial workday, trying to serve the needs of the information age." I thought it was a great comment and might fit with the conversations this evening. Classroom's First Commission is led by our own Lieutenant Governor, Sheila Simon. We look forward to a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan. I've had the pleasure of being here before with Dr. Gobin, and I'm very happy to be back here, particularly on this really cool stage. And if any of you are inspired to sing or perform somehow, I think this is the place to do it. I would first like to take advantage of the opportunity to have each of the commission members introduce themselves and a little bit about who they represent, why they're on the commission. Larry, you want to start?
Good afternoon. My name is Larry Pfeiffer. I'm representing the regional superintendents of schools. I am regional superintendent, and I cover the counties of Calhoun, Greene, Jersey, and Macoupin.
I'm Jerry Harrison. I'm with the Illinois Education Association.
Mike Jacoby, Executive Director of the Illinois Association of School Business Officials.
Good afternoon. I'm Linda Mitchell from the State Board of Education. I'm the Chief Financial Officer.
Tom Skates, Carmine, White County, and representing the rural school districts.
Brent Clark, Executive Director, Illinois Association of School Administrators. We represent the school superintendents and the assistant superintendents.
Ava Harston, I'm representing the Chicago Teachers Union.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Goodell. I'm president of the Illinois Alliance of Administrators of Special Education.
Good evening. Jason Leahy, Executive Director of the Illinois Principals Association.
Okay, and on the phone we have Paul Swanstrom. Paul, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, you want to say hello?
Representing the high school district organization. Thank you.
All right, thanks for checking in, Paul. We appreciate you being on the line. And Lynn Hafely, Dr. Lynn Hafely, is here with me. She is my staff member on our team for this purpose and is an expert in the field, and we're very pleased to have her working with us. Before I open it up to comments, let me just talk a little bit about the focus of the commission. It is very much in the beginning stages right now. Now is when we are seeking information. Lynn has obtained a lot of research for us, which is available online at the Lieutenant Governor's website. We are very much open-minded in this process. Our goals are two. There are many tinier goals, but the two big categories of what we want to do is make sure that we're maximizing educational opportunity and that we are using public tax dollars efficiently. I think we're very cognizant that there's not a single cookie-cutter solution to getting that job done. And because of that, one of the things we wanted to do is to reach out, have hearings across the state, and learn from all of you. And I'm very pleased that you're here. We have, in fact, so many people who want to comment that we're going to be fairly strict on time. We're going to have a little bit less than 5 minutes per person. Is that my understanding? Is that correct? 4 minutes per person. And we've spent a great deal of public tax dollars on our high-tech system of timing here at Lynn. When you have 1 minute left, you're going to get the green card. And when it's time to stop, you're going to get the red, and I will be merciless and stop you at that point, only because I want to make sure that we get to hear from everyone. So, having said that, let me turn it over to Crystal, who has the order, and we'll call our first person to give testimony.
Jim Peterson.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jim Peterson. I'm a technology director for Bloomington Public Schools, just down the road. And I'm involved in a project called the Illini Cloud. As you probably know, there's about 860 plus school districts around the state. I've been a teacher in some of the little smaller ones down south, all the way to tech director in Urbana, Bloomington, and network with a lot of people. And we're all trying to do the same kind of things. In technology, we have to provide services for all the schools in a lot of different areas. We have to host things like student information systems, and IEP servers, all kinds of curriculum applications. In my district alone, we right now serve over 78 different servers to provide the resources for our schools. We're kind of lucky in Bloomington because we're a little bit better off than most school districts, but other school districts around the state don't have the same kind of resources we do. The great part about the school districts in Illinois is we always work together. We have the same bottom line. And so what this is a co-op of school districts working together to be able to share those resources over the Illinois Century Network so that we can provide these kinds of technical resources for schools, whether they're large or small, whether they're down south in Illinois or they're up in northern Illinois. It doesn't really matter. And it's called the Illini Cloud. For those people who don't know, there's a little history in the state of Illinois about networking, so all the schools are basically networked throughout the state. A lot of them are connected on that Illinois Century Network, and part of the problem with that is in the past they tried to put servers and things like that, but everybody had to kind of opt in. They got kind of locked in. But every year these 860 school districts are scrambling to find different kinds of services, being able to figure out how to run their technology, and it becomes a difficult thing. Some of the issues facing school district IT is they have lack of funds to provide reliable computing infrastructure, keeping up with the rapid demand for computing, storage, and networking, protecting district assets if there's a big fire or a flood or those kind of things for disaster recovery, staff retention and development to keep pace with the training and on-site technologies, and then of course another problem we have is limited bargaining power with vendors. We're often divided and conquered because we're 860 school districts. So what can cloud computing do to change things? It changes the model from capital expenditures where school districts have to spend a lot of money in their own districts to small operating expenditures where they're basically renting services. Through economies of scale, we can provide state-of-the-art computing, storage, and networking resources for all districts regardless of their size. It enables districts the ability to provide existing resources more efficiently with the ability to expand resources very cost-effectively. So what is the Illini Cloud? It is scalable enterprise-level computing resources spread across 3 data centers in the state, using existing resources, school districts, the state network, vast amounts of high performance and capacity optimized storage, and next generation data center networking infrastructure. It's an evolving cast of characters with different folks that are playing part in different parts. We offer several different services, everything from disaster recovery, so if a school district does have a problem or they have some kind of catastrophic event, they can actually back up their stuff to the Illini Cloud so that they can continue their services. But we also offer infrastructure as a service, so if a school district can't afford that expensive IEP server, they can host it in the cloud on pennies on the dollar. So it's a great opportunity for schools. We'd like to keep making sure people are aware of it. We have over 150 school districts now doing it since we started 2 years ago, and we're finding that a lot of them are saving a lot of money and being able to take advantage of working with their peers, trusted network of peers that people are working with. Thank you.
Okay. Stay there in case we have any questions. Any questions for Mr. Peterson? Well, let me ask. A lot of them are saving a lot of money. How much money are we talking about?
Well, if you look at that, those kind of things we're still trying to figure out the actual details of it. But in storage alone, because storage is our fastest growing area because there's a lot of student projects with video, you can imagine those things. We're showing 60% reductions because of our deduplication technology and our storage tiering technologies that we've been able to share across multiple school districts. It brings that cost down about 60% on the storage side. On the computing side, that is, let's say, for example, a school district has to buy a new server for a student information system, and they can spend anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 to do that. They can rent that same kind of server in the Illini Cloud for roughly around $800, which is, obviously, you can do the math, and you can see that it's saving them money.
Okay. Other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Dr. Joseph Pacha. He's not here yet. Gerald Gordon.
Oh, he was coming from Chicago. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Jerry Gordon. I've worked in education for past 30-plus years as a teacher and as a field staff person with the Illinois Education Association. I came here in support of school consolidation. I've been an advocate of school consolidation for as long as I can remember. I advocated for consolidation in my own school district some 40 years ago. We lost that campaign because most of the citizens in my small rural community believed that we would be giving up our identity if we consolidated. And so I learned that consolidation was not an easy process. When I became a staff member with the Illinois Education Association, we again discussed consolidation. In that discussion, we found out that the affluent urban communities were afraid they would be giving up their quality education program to fund the downstate school districts. And so, again, consolidation is not easy. There are some concerns there. But knowing the difficulty of the consolidation, I still don't understand why children from a smaller school district should receive a lesser education than those of the more affluent, larger school districts. By pure logic, small school districts cannot afford the technology, the diversity, and the facilities that the larger school districts enjoy. Ideally, every child in the state of Illinois should have access to the best program available. 20-some years ago, while with the IEA, I worked in a very affluent school district, and I was amazed at the programs and opportunities the students had to choose from. I never could imagine what was available until I actually saw what was being offered. This only strengthened my desire for school consolidation. This comes as no surprise, but quality education is expensive. Back in the 1980s, there was a Blue Ribbon Task Force whose task it was to develop an ideal education system and determine the cost of that program. The dollars per student was way more than the state was currently spending and unwilling to spend. The results of that task force were put on the shelf and forgotten. I believe the state should reinstate another task force for the purpose of one, determining what the state should consider to be a quality education program. 2, determine the cost of that program. 3, suggest different ways to pay for such a program. 4, present those findings to the state legislature. And 5, the state to make education a priority and fund education first before any other program. Our children's education deserves our best efforts, and we should all be privileged to pay for the price of a quality education program. I find it amazing that school districts of less than 100 students still exist in the state at this time when we face such financial strain. Districts of this size cannot afford the cost of a quality education unless the citizens of that community are willing to pay extraordinary tax rates. Districts of this size spend a larger percentage of their budget on administrative expenses. For example, their transportation expenses bear a bigger burden to their budget than the larger districts. In many cases, the school buildings in these small districts are older and require more money to keep them up to acceptable standards for the health and safety of the students. As for teachers' salaries, one can only imagine how they are woefully underpaid, which threatens the overall education program when districts lose good teachers to better paying districts. All in all, the student's education suffers in the small districts. If school consolidation became a priority in this state, we could see a more sustainable state education program. Fewer districts could mean fewer superintendent salaries. Fewer districts could mean that older buildings could be closed, which in turn could reduce the number of building principal salaries, cost of heating, electricity, and other maintenance costs.
Jerry, your 4 minutes are up. If you could wrap it up in one sentence, and then we can ask you some questions.
Well, we need school consolidation.
Well done, nicely summarized. Okay.
I read so slow.
And let me mention to you, Jerry, and to anyone else, whether you're testifying or not, we can accept written testimony, which we will then share with the members of the commission. So to the extent that you have something written out that you haven't been able to tell us, we would like to get that information.
I can do that. You have
Super.
to read through my chicken scratches. Too.
Okay. Any questions for Jerry? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
All right, our next speaker is Mary Bush, and I'm actually going to adjust this a little bit. If you could make sure to speak directly into the microphone, it'll help with the feedback that we're getting.
Thank you for giving the public opportunity to speak on this issue at the Classrooms First Commission instead of a consolidation commission, which we are glad to see. As speakers in Carterville reminded you that one size does not fit all and bigger is not always better, this commission seems to be gathering ideas about improving school efficiency. Such efficiency makes sense when students are served effectively and no child is left behind. Let's speak about efficiencies. I'm Mary Bush, superintendent and principal of Williamsfield Unit School District number 210. Williamsfield is located in Knox County and lies between Galesburg and Peoria. We educate 267 K-12 students and 31 preschool students under one roof, which was built in 1980. In the 2009 state required testing cycle, there were 6 high schools in our area. Out of that, there were 6 high schools in our area out of 23 that made AYP. Williamsfield High School was one of those districts. That year we had fewer than 65 students in our high school. While one may think our small high school has to give up curricular variety to maintain local control, nothing could be farther from the truth. Let me give you a snapshot of our high school, since many wonder how this extremely small high school can prepare students for the 21st century. We employ top-notch teachers. 56% of our faculty has at least one advanced degree. I can assure you that they are demanding, yet caring. High school students have rigorous English, math, science, foreign language, social studies, and fine art classes. Our students have access to a diversified range of dual credit classes offered through Carl Sandburg College. Students have graduated from Williamsfield with 21 college credits, which is about 2/3 of a college freshman's year's requirement. These classes include courses in public speaking, psychology, sociology, and full years of Western civilization and college English. We established this curriculum 5 years ago using long-distance technology and local teachers where possible. Williamsfield partners with Avon High School, which is 42 miles away and shares resources and teaching time via technology for both college and high school credit. We do this with no student leaving our campuses. Rigor, relevance, and relationships is achieved at Williamsfield by offering a full array of career and technical education at our campus. In agriculture, we have a full slate of primary emphasis in science applications, and we have an articulation program with Black Hawk East in Kewanee. We offer full business and computer applications. We have a full fax curriculum and offer food sanitation state certification. Students also has an opportunity to take more in-depth and diverse opportunities in our by attending our Galesburg Area Vocational Center located in Galesburg High School and partnered with Carl Sandburg. Finally, I believe our capstone career and technical ed course is our building trades class. Our secondary students actually experience building a house. We built an entire house in our small school, in our small town, every other year, which then increases our local EAV. We have a close relationship between our school and community. I'd like to sum up that no student at Williamsfield High School slips through the cracks. It is our firm belief that bigger is not always better. Public school in Illinois is a local decision. Our local population supports its school. It would be an absolute tragedy to consolidate to become more efficient in Williamsfield. Thank you.
Thank you. And don't leave in case we have questions. Any questions for Ms. Bush?
I do have one.
Good.
Mayor, I just wondered, in your dual credit program, are the courses the college courses and taught by the college teachers, or are they courses that you've designed and taught by your staff? I mean, how does that
Both.
work? Both.
We have faculty on our campus in Avon that has credentials that the community college accepts as adjunct professors. And then at times when we have interest in courses that neither faculty has, local faculty has members, then we partner together with Avon so we can come up with this magic number of 10 students, because that's what they need to be efficient and effective. And then they find the college instructor, and then they may be beamed from another site to both of our sites. So it may be a 3 or 4-way long distance course, because we have other high schools that do partner with us also. I just mentioned Avon.
Okay, thank you.
How long have you been doing the dual credit program?
Dual credit has been going on for 5 years now.
And you offer that to just your juniors and seniors?
We do offer that to the juniors and seniors, but the technology that we've used also teaches high school courses such as accounting, another foreign language, and once Avon was unable to staff a full-time certified science teacher, found out 2 weeks before school started. Since we already had our schedules and bell schedules similar, we were able to beam every one of our science classes to Avon, and they either received it live or taped it according to their schedule.
So it really opens up your curriculum to the curriculum that's at the local community college.
Absolutely. They can, our juniors and seniors see exactly where their career emphasis is, and then starts going for it their junior year.
Approximately what % of your juniors and seniors participate?
When I go through graduation ceremonies, I would tell you either vocationally or career transfer dual credit classes, I would tell you close to 60%,
Wow.
maybe 75%, depending on a class.
Commend you on a great program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alan White.
Hello, my name is Alan White, and I'm a fourth-generation Chevrolet dealer in our small town of Williamsfield, population 600. My wife is the business education teacher in our district, and we have 4 boys that are enrolled in Williamsfield District 210. I watched your streaming video from the public hearing in Carterville, and I commend you for your commission's fact-finding journey to be available to the public. Informing the public helps to reduce fear. I feel like I don't need to stand here and defend why my school shouldn't be forced to consolidate. As a business owner in our town, we experienced a similar situation with General Motors. A couple of years ago, there was rampant fear at many stores when GM decided to reduce the number of dealerships in order to save costs. This proved a costly venture for GM because they didn't renew several franchises for many dealerships. This may have resulted in lost sales, and I believe that GM learned that small stores do play a vital role in their business model. Fortunately for our dealership, White Chevrolet, we were one of the dealerships that was small but efficient. The same goes true for our school districts. You are fully aware that the state has many small but efficient school districts that have operated in the black for a long time. Williamsfield has received a perfect 4.0 financial rating since 2008. Our high school has 80 students. And besides the rigorous core math, English, science classes, we offer courses that include business, agriculture, family and consumer sciences, and a building trades house that builds houses in our community. To date, we have built 4 houses. Students learn the basic of construction, foundation work, electrical, and landscaping. Another similarity to my business is that of distance learning. Mary talked about EduNet program. To receive training from Chevrolet, my technician, service manager, and salesman are required to take courses via high-speed internet. These courses are called virtual classroom training and include dealership employees from all parts of the country. There is an instructor that teaches in real time, and participants are able to speak during class. Williamsfield has been fortunate to be a part of a progressive community college, Carl Sandburg College. Several years ago, they saw the importance of the ability to learn without traveling. Our EduNet system was set up, and students have access to various dual credit classes. She also did mention that we partner with Avon, and students can take courses without having to travel. This helps keep our costs in line while simultaneously offering additional courses to our students. In 2009, our school tax rate was 3.19, which was the lowest in Knox County. Other school districts in the area range from 407 to 525. And since fiscal year 2003, the school board has left over $5 million on the table by not maximizing established tax rate. Our school tries diligently to be fiscally responsible. In the public hearing in Carterville, I heard someone talk about how many times a school will pay higher taxes to keep their high school in their town. While this may be true in other school districts, it isn't the case for ours. Our county recently passed a 1-cent county facilities sales tax last November to use for capital building projects, and I believe I did hear that in the last meeting that you had. While our school will receive only approximately 3.5% of the additional tax, we will be able to use this to improve our school facilities. It appears to me that your purpose for the public hearings is for you to listen to your constituents. It's very easy for many of us to stand on our soapbox and tell you what you shouldn't do. So to give you an idea of something you could do, I would suggest you send a team or teams, maybe comprised of retired superintendents or former community leaders, to see what the schools that are receiving financial recognition are doing. Make this information available to other school districts on a website, a best practice list, if you will. And it appears after reading through some of your information that you're headed down that path. Thank you again for making your mission available to the public and for taking time to listen to us.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay.
I've got one. Most of the people have been saying, the smaller schools. Are you saying then that if another school district wanted to consolidate with you, that you wouldn't want them?
Well, you have to see what they had to offer. If we're not offering something that my kids is going to teach my kids well, I don't, then that's something we'd have to look at. But I think our school's doing the right things. We have a lot of stuff available to our students, similar to what a larger school would. So.
And we would acquire that we don't need and don't have right now.
Okay, thanks. And thank you for taking advantage of our online information. We appreciate that.
Jean Anderson.
Lieutenant Governor Simon and members of the Commission, my name is Jean Anderson, and I am the Regional Superintendent of Schools for Logan, Mason, and Menard counties. As you know, and probably as was discussed in the prior session, regional superintendents play a pretty strong role in school district consolidation, particularly the hearing process, but we also play a role much sooner than that, and that is with the school feasibility studies that help constituents to determine whether consolidation really is right for them or not. Back in fiscal year 2007, Lincoln Community High School District 404 and its 4 elementary school feeder districts undertook such a study. There were some concerns, actually, with the outcome of the study. The results were kind of inconclusive, a little bit misleading, and so a group formed a fact-finding commission in order to pursue more specific information for the districts. This committee was made up of 17 residents and Board of Education members from the 5 districts. Their goal was not to advocate for or against consolidation, but was just to seek facts that would help our community make a better decision. A lot of times people feel that there is going to be a savings administratively when consolidation takes place. But several things came out of this second study. First of all, it was determined that a larger and more complex school district might require additional administrative positions. For example, a business manager or a curriculum director. Those positions did not already exist, so that would have had to have been something new. A cost increase was projected for the final salary schedule for the newly consolidated district. In Illinois, basically, consolidations seem to incorporate the salary schedule from the highest district, so that was not going to save any money. Third, the employee insurance benefits proved to look like they were going to increase substantially. The net cost increase basically for fiscal year 2008 alone was going to be almost $500,000. In addition, potential changes in the tax rates showed significant annual increases for 3 of the 4 elementary school districts, with only one elementary district showing an estimated decrease. So based on those findings, people kind of felt that consolidation maybe was not the right thing to do at that point in time. However, they strongly recommended a formal collaborative effort among those 5 districts in order to pursue education issues in a cooperative, effective, and efficient manner. And the result has been the Education Cooperation Committee, which has been in existence since the year 2008. It consists of school board members and superintendents from the 5 districts, some community members, and myself, the regional superintendent. Almost from the start, the committee met monthly at the ROE, and it established goals to study the possible benefits of the following: coordinating pupil transportation, joint purchasing, sharing staff, for example, librarians or foreign language teachers, pursuing a common school calendar, coming together for professional development, leveraging technology purchases, aligning curriculum, and any other such effort perceived to be beneficial to the community, including the 1% sales tax, which was passed last April. Public Act 97-357, passed last spring, encourages regional superintendents to offer ways for our districts to participate in joint educational or operational aims when finances allow. We are looking to do that and continuing to do that, and it has been a best practice of this committee since 2008, long before passage of this law. I hope that our Cooperation Committee might become a model for change statewide, as it is always important for those involved and most affected by potential change to be given a chance to weigh in and be heard. When change results from school consolidation, it is often met with fear, frustration, and resistance. However, when school change is brought about through open, honest discussion, sharing, and respectful consideration by community members for community members, it is a far better practice. And in my region, we have seen it firsthand. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes. Eva.
How many schools are in the Cooperation Committee? And
it's rather fluid. We started out with the 5. When we took on the county schools facility tax process, we picked up another district. There are actually 7 Logan County districts in my region, and then I have 3 in Mason County and 3 in Menard County. That particular initiative did not involve them, and of course the original consolidation study did not as well. They have undertaken similar studies, but no Cooperation Committee to date has come out of that.
Other questions? Okay, thanks very much. Appreciate your ideas.
Kevin Borney.
Good afternoon. I guess it's good evening. My name is Kevin Forney. I'm the superintendent at Oakwood Unit 76 in Vermilion County, Illinois. My overarching message is that school reorganization decisions should be matters left to local choice. That's what I advocate for in the part of my own district and also for those districts in my county. I just want to make 3 quick points about school reorganization. Of course, the first is that to lose a school system, as you've already heard from other speakers, there's that feeling that districts have lost their identity and communities lose who they are and the heart and soul of their communities. And of course, a lot of the small rural districts, that school system is their identity. Many rural districts are cooperating to gain greater efficiencies. In Vermilion County, we already participate in a copy paper buying cooperative that saves thousands of dollars every year. We are in a food buying cooperative. We partner with Danville Area Community College, I hope nobody boos here, to offer career and technical education in a dual credit format. The schools in the south part of the county cooperatively operate low incidence special education programs and so forth. This is a lot of work, but we do it to increase our efficiency while maintaining our local district autonomy and improving education. The second point is to pass along that to be successful, any type of large-scale reorganization will take significant financial support from the state of Illinois in 2 particular areas. Number 1 is capital funding. The simple fact is a lot of rural school systems do not have big enough buildings to house any resulting schools that may come from multi-district reorganization, in particular the secondary area. We just do not have the bonding power to pay for new high schools and junior highs that may result from reorganization. Number 2 is transportation costs. Combining 3 small districts at 90 square miles each into a 270 square mile big rural district, that is not going to decrease your transportation cost. And I know that there's a lot of discussion in Springfield right now, and there's not a lot of support for fully funding that as we move forward, but that will be a concern. My last point is I hope the Commission stays open to alternative ideas of school reorganization. In my own district, ourselves and our 2 neighboring districts have looked at the cooperative high school as a form of high school reorganization. We've been talking for 7 years about it, and the big stumbling block also includes the points in number 2, cost to provide capital funding and some other types of re-incentive supports. I think the state will realize long-term efficiencies, and any kind of voluntary reorganization short of consolidation may in the long term lead to more permanent forms of school reorganization when the districts are comfortable and it's time to do that. So I want to emphasize that we'd like to see reorganization decisions remain as local decisions, and I hope that my points were well taken. So thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Dr. Forney, how long have you had the dual credit program?
We're going on 6 years. This is our 5th full year of offering that with DACC.
How many students participate? What percentage of students in your junior and senior class?
That's a tough question as far as the overall number. I'd say right now, Brent, we have, this last year we started our biggest enrollment, and that's countywide, including Danville 118. We're at about 500 students enrolled.
Pretty significant. Thank you.
Any other questions? Jerry?
Yeah, could you describe your professional development that you did for teachers like in 2008 and 9 when budgets were being cut?
Locally? We brought in a guest speaker to talk about professional learning communities. That was just a voluntary effort on our part at Oakwood. We ended up inviting 5 or 6 other districts. The cost of that speaker was borne cooperatively and shared with all 5 or 6 districts with that. We brought in a speaker to talk about internet safety and cyber safety, and that was also shared among 3 or 4 districts. So it wasn't countywide, because the simple fact is a venue to bring in all 12 districts is hard to find in Vermilion County. but we tried to bring in what we had the room for sharing with and provide that opportunity.
Excuse me, did you say there's 500 children in the school district? How many children?
No, we're talking 500 students enrolled in the dual credit community college program. Our district has 1,100. We are about the 4th biggest district in Vermilion County.
No other questions? All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate your participation.
Ty Wolf.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak before the Commission today. I represent the community of Tonka, Illinois. Tonka is home to Tonka Community Consolidated School District 79, a one-school district with approximately 200 students. We believe that consolidation should be for improving the quality of education for all students first and foremost. Tonka Grade School, like many other small LaSalle County schools, has been doing very well academically. In fact, the Illinois State Board of Education has named Tonka an academic excellence school for 3 years in a row by having 90% of our students meeting and exceeding on the state learning standards in math and reading. We believe that locally elected school board members better represent the wishes and desires of the community than the state legislature or the governor's office. School district organization should reflect the community's interest and values and not be dictated arbitrarily from the state of Illinois. Suggested cost savings from the school consolidation have not been proven as a general rule. In fact, potential cost savings can only be determined on a case-by-case basis. Stretching school district boundaries to meet an arbitrary population figure will cause an increase in student transportation time and increased costs to the district. Taking money from the classroom to put into transportation is not the best use of our scarce resources. There is no evidence that consolidating school districts saves local taxpayers money. In some cases it has, in others it has not, which is why consolidation needs to be made on a case-by-case basis and determined by locally elected school boards. From a financial standpoint, shared services and improved fiscal efficiencies should be implemented whenever possible. We are all striving to provide the best possible education programs in the most economical manner. And I applaud the Commission when it comes to researching and making suggestions in those areas. However, when it comes to consolidation or reorganization, locally elected school board members and not the state government should decide what is best for each unique situation. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thanks very much.
Cynthia Christensen. Jan Severn.
Good afternoon. My name is Jean Servin. I'm a member of the Committee of 10 for the proposed Abingdon, Avon, Bushnell Prairie City consolidation effort, and I serve as the Curriculum Subcommittee Chair. I am here today with 2 other members of our Committee of 10. We started our journey in the fall of 2009 with the feasibility study, one of the 47 conducted by Dr. Bill Phillips, who addressed your group at the earlier hearing. Our 3 districts formed the Committee of 10 in May of 2010, and we've worked hard to present a proposal for consolidation that our 3 individual districts can accept. All three of our respective school boards have approved the Committee of Ten's proposal and requested that it be placed on the March 20th ballot. We know that opening a new district on July 1st of next year will be a tremendous challenge if our proposal is approved by our voters, but we are optimistic. Thursday evening, we will conduct our local public hearing for the petition we are submitting. Before I go any further, we would like to publicly thank Mr. John Meixner, the Regional Superintendent for Hancock and McDonough counties. In spite of receiving no salary since July 1st, he has been extremely helpful and professional in assisting us with the process of achieving the creation of our petition, providing the necessary paperwork so that we can begin to circulate prospective school board member petitions, and making the arrangements for our hearing Thursday evening. It has been no simple task for him since our 3 school districts lie in parts of 4 different counties. I'm sure he's made a lot of new friends at the county clerk's offices. Without him, we couldn't have proceeded legally since his duties are a mandated part of this process, so we appreciate his free time. We are seeking consolidation because it is the right solution for us at this time. Collectively, we can offer our students an enhanced curriculum both for our college-bound as well as our vocational students. We feel this curriculum will maximize our students' abilities to succeed in whatever post-high school environment they choose. Extracurricular activities will also be expanded at minimal additional cost. In the area of building and facilities, we are fortunate. We will have to build no new buildings. Our proposed high school of approximately 540 students will be located in one community's current junior-senior high school. Our proposed middle school of approximately 360 students can be housed in another community's current junior-senior high school. Our 3 communities will each retain their elementary buildings. We are here to tell you where our challenges exist in the hopes that you can help us provide a smooth transition if our consolidation is approved by our local voters. Transportation is our biggest area of concern. We must have transportation funding supported fully and in a timely manner. Our new district is primarily rural. It will encompass 1,800 students. We will cover 320 square miles. We will run 20 bus routes. That's a lot of fuel and a lot of buses to maintain, and we're currently looking at the purchase of 4 to 5 more buses. Appropriate and timely funding of our transportation is essential. Secondly, it is our understanding there's a proposal to fund the regional school superintendent salaries with the monies acquired from the corporate personal property replacement tax. The education budget for our new district is dependent on those dollars we receive from that tax. Please find another way to fund those valuable people. And third, we have a budget for a new district without including the dollars that could be received from state incentives from that other consolidated districts have received. This was done because our voters feel that source of funding is too tenuous. Please send out a strong message to the public that you will support these continued incentives. That will help our efforts tremendously. I know consolidation is a sensitive issue for small rural communities. I'm from the Avon district, which currently has approximately 175 students, pre-K through 12. Our high school senior class consists of 11 students this year. I know that's too small for a quality education. We've worked hard with our neighbors to the north and the south to reach an acceptable solution for all of us. It must be a local decision. As long as you'll adequately support us, we'll succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
A couple of questions. Those districts are kind of stacked on top of one another, aren't they, geographically?
Mm-hmm.
What's the distance from the north border to the southern border of those 3 districts?
I think approximately 40 miles.
And so
It's about 20 miles between our 2 biggest districts, and then there's additional rural areas on both ends.
Okay. And then the second question is, how many of those districts, those 3 districts, are currently accessing the dual credit courses with community colleges now?
I give all 3. 2 of them.
2 of the 3?
Mm-hmm. 2 out of 3.
Oh.
Other questions? Was there any one thing that got people started looking at this?
Well, Avon, being located in the middle, has probably taken more of a leadership role in this. We have to do something. 5 years ago, we could have said, oh, we can exist fine, but we lost all the hold harmless money, and it took about 5 years for us to run out. 11 kids in a class is not good. It's not quality education. So it's declining enrollment.
Okay.
And we approached both because we were afraid if we went with just one, we'd have to do this again in another 5 or 10 years. So
Okay. All
we
right.
approached both.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Appreciate your
Thank
participation
you.
here.
Dr. Joseph Pasha.
Good afternoon, Commission members, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to address you this afternoon on some research that's been done in the area of school closure. I would like to enter into the testimony some results from a 3-year study concerning school closure in the state of Illinois. We studied the following questions. What are the demographics, economic, and educational causes of school closure? What trends lead up to a school closure and the decision making? What are the demographic, economic, and educational impacts resulting from school closure? And are these effects immediate or do they manifest themselves later? And then under what circumstances does the closure of a school bring about demographic, economic, and educational benefits for a county, district, or community? Now, what we have done is we took demographic, economic, and educational data for the last 25 years, and we spread that out over time graphs so that we could compare what was happening to many variables in communities when their schools closed. And then we compared what happened to closed schools and their communities to schools that remained open and their communities, so that we could see if there were any impacts of significance that could tell us something about closed schools. We did this in 3 categories: elementary, middle, and high school. And because of I understand it's a 4-minute time limit, I'm going to quickly go through what these are, but we have some background information that you can read in our report that will tell you about some of these variables that come out. Some of them are very intuitive, and you'd say, "Jeepers, Joe, we know that. You don't need to have a study to tell us that." Some of them are counterintuitive. Some of them really don't make sense until you take a look at what else they are in relationship to the rest of the other variables in the study. So first of all, at the elementary level, what are the 3 our research found 3 variables that increase the likelihood of school closure. First of all, EAV per student. Second was teacher experience. And the third was the percent of students not meeting math goals. Most of those are pretty intuitive. In other words, EAV runs the funding formula, and it has a contributing factor in it. Teacher experience is a 2-edged sword. More experience drives up the budget and therefore, creates a problem. Less experience means less, the likelihood of less student achievement because of inexperience of the teacher. Percent of students not meeting math goals of the 3 school areas, elementary, middle, and high school. This was the only variable in terms of academics that came forward as demonstrating a reason for closure. We also took a look at if you were able to do something. Okay, I'm going to have to move very quickly then. If we were only going to, we also have variables that you'll have to read in the study that demonstrate if the community did something about those variables, they would decrease the likelihood of their school closing. At the junior high level, however, we found some variables that told us that the likelihood of closure would happen, and there were actually 6 variables at the junior high level. Percent of African American students, poverty rate, vacancy rate in the community, percent in agriculture, and then a percent of the community with high school diplomas and with graduate degrees, both of which seem counterintuitive. We also found 3 variables that if you did something to them, you would decrease the likelihood of your junior high closing, and that was expenditures per pupil, teacher experience, and the percent of immigrants in your community. At high school, there are 2 main variables. How much extra time do I get?
Time is up, I hate to say it.
Okay.
The good news is, though, we do have your report already on our website, so we have access to that.
What are the 3 variables at the high school?
Well done.
There are 2 major variables at the high school for closure. Increase in the district tax rate, and then increase in the percentage of those with high school diplomas in the community.
Say the second one again.
Increase in the percentage of those with high school diplomas in the community. In other words, your more highly educated community members are gone. They leave the community.
So high school diplomas as opposed to college degrees?
Correct.
Okay.
As opposed to college degrees.
And that increases the likelihood of the school closure at the high school level.
Yes. Can I just say one more thing?
One
we
fast
have we did a study for, and I have permission to use the school district, the Atwood-Hammond School District, in which what we did was we compared the Atwood-Hammond School District to its 4 neighbors surrounding it. And in that study, we were able to take all of these demographic factors and put them together with those other school districts to demonstrate potentials for those communities to get together and perhaps do something.
Okay. Ava, did you have a question? Yeah.
What is your name again?
Joe Pacha, spelled P-A-C-H-A.
So Joe, we could reasonably conclude from your study that when we see districts that have these markers, for lack of a better term, those are districts that are more likely to see school closure than districts that don't exhibit this trait or these traits.
Correct.
Thanks for being here, Joe. With mathematics at the elementary level, that surprises me versus like reading, thinking about the emphasis there. Why did that, from your research, come out?
Once again, we're dealing with numbers, okay? So a lot of these things, the findings, to really get at what the real meaning of them are, we're going to have to do further study. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Randy Merker.
Thank you for bringing the Classrooms First Commission to our area and allowing us this opportunity to testify. I'm the superintendent of schools at the Hayworth School District. Hayworth is also part of the Heart of Illinois Conference, the HOIC. My HOIC peers have asked that I speak for them today so as not to take up another 20, 30 minutes of the Commission's time with similar repetitive testimony. So a little time leniency would be great. Hayworth School District is fairly typical of the smaller rural school districts in central Illinois. We're just 10 miles south here of the Bloomington-Normal community. When compared to some other school districts around us, we're certainly smaller than some, with 977 students in our district. As this commission was first authorized, the term consolidation was used often and regularly. Our school district emphatically is against forced consolidations. Several school districts right around Hayworth here in central Illinois are great examples of where consolidation does work when the process is initiated and completed under local control. Mechanisms are currently in place in the state to allow school districts to consolidate when school district boards of education make these decisions locally. As I consider school districts personally and think about consolidation, I ask myself, why would school districts consolidate? School districts should certainly consider consolidation if they're not able to sustain a quality education for their children. In other words, quality education has to be the focus. Improved student learning opportunities are indeed a focus of your commission. When we're no longer able to provide a quality education for our kids, we should consider all options. Consolidation may be an option for a local school board to consider, but it shouldn't be imposed on them. I'm here today also representing the Heart of Illinois Conference. We're comprised of 13 schools that averages, approximately 890 students in each of our districts and average about 140 square miles in each district. Most folks think of conferences as being for athletics only, but the HOIC is a conference that also works hard to produce quality education for kids. As just one small example, our 13 members conference will be gathering together next January to hear Dr. Todd Whitaker speak to us all, a nationally recognized speaker, to speak to us all about what great teachers do differently. Why do we do things like this as a conference? We do this because we care about kids, we care about quality education, but we also do this because we recognize financially what we need to do to work together as a conference to provide that quality education for the students entrusted to us. Our local control of our conference produces a conference that works. In my school district of Hayworth, we look at annually what we can do to conserve costs, and we engage in several cost-saving measures to improve efficiency already. We've made those decisions locally. We're part of the Tri-County Special Ed Association, Bloomington Area Career Center. We purchase fuel cooperatively, paper cooperatively. You've heard some of those from Dr. Forney. Why are we members of those groups? We're members of those groups to save money. We're members of those groups because we made a conscious decision locally to conserve our resources so we can provide a better education for kids. We save where we can. We efficiently and effectively plan and budget to better support the education of our kids. My local school district, it's not a big district. It's 977 kids. It's 2 buildings. It's 74 certified staff members. It's about 100 staff members total. But here's some other statistics about our district. The Hayworth School District had 88%, 87% of our children categorized as meeting and exceeding Illinois learning standards on all tests in our last ISAT and Prairie State exams. Our Hayworth School District's budget continually qualifies at the rank of financial recognition on the ISB school report cards. Hayworth facilities, we built a new high school in 2005. Our elementary school is 1993, but we built an athletic complex in 2007. Our school facilities are in great shape. As you consider your task, Hayworth has used our own local control to build a school district that works. Our kids are successful, the result of a quality education. We're financially stable. We have new and educationally sound facilities. I believe we're a great example of a school district that works. I hope your commission recognizes the success of districts such as ours and our HOIC districts as you continue your work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the cooperation on your schools. I appreciate that.
Matt Brew.
Good evening. My name is Matt Brew. I'm the superintendent of Porta School District in Petersburg, Illinois. We are a consolidated district, have been since the mid-1960s. We are currently actively seeking a consolidation with anybody around us would like to have us. I'm not lying. You are looking at a superintendent who truly believes consolidation is the answer for our school district. But I'm also here to say that consolidation is not for every school district, hence we haven't consolidated with everybody yet. One of the interesting facts that I've learned over the last 5 years working with various school districts for consolidation is the issues are so varied. We have a small school district to our east, 60 kids in their high school. They're very happy with what they're offering their kids. You know, from our standpoint, we feel like we could offer a lot more to them, but they aren't interested in consolidation with us. We have another school district we're currently working with. They have a similar size school district as we do, a little bit smaller in numbers, but size of the actual district itself is about the same as ours. Ours is 180 square miles. We have a very good possibility we could consolidate with that district, effectively doubling the size of our district. That will cause us a lot of concerns when we are looking at transportation. Our transportation costs, as you can imagine, are pretty extensive. We run 20 buses. We have 22 buses in our fleet, We have 20 regular bus routes. We travel long distances with special needs students because we co-op all of our special needs services. When you talk about savings in districts like ours, we spend a lot of our time trying to find new ways to save money so we can keep our education as good as possible without wasting dollars. We've reduced transportation directors. We've reduced our cafeteria staff. You're looking at the new cafeteria director along with my other duties. We do that because we know we can't spend that money on things that aren't focused on education. So when school districts get to the point that we are, and we are by no means in need of consolidation, we just see this coming down the road, that we will not be able to offer what we'd like to offer our students in 5 years. And we know it takes time to get a consolidation effort moving. And so we are trying to be a little proactive. Having that forced upon us might not be nearly as tasteful, I guess. We might not like that. I don't have a whole lot of efficiency things to offer you today. I'll come to Moline and I might offer a few more. But today I basically wanted to give you a perspective of a district who is actively seeking consolidation and sees the benefit in local control and making sure that happens. Thank you.
Okay. Questions?
Matt, you're a bit of an anomaly.
A lot of people say that.
At the hearings. Well, I won't tell them why, but I'm just joking. Can you tell us why it is that your district, Porta, is looking to consolidate?
We offer a great education program right now. My son and daughter both have graduated from Porta High School, and I couldn't ask for anything better. They're both straight A students in college. They had every opportunity afforded any high school student that I've ever worked with. Plus an atmosphere that was great for a kid to grow up in. Soon, we're not going to be able to offer those programs anymore. Our enrollment will decline. We're going to end up with, we're about 400 now, we'll end up with about 300 students in high school eventually. And we just can't maintain the staff. Over the past 4 years, Jerry, you might correct me if I'm wrong on this one, in the past 4 years, we have reduced our staff by 10 certified staff members. That's not including our non-certified staff members because of enrollment at the lower grades. It's not that we're not being efficient. We are being efficient. It's that we won't be able to sustain what we have right now.
Matt, I'll show my ignorance here. I thought Porta was consolidated years ago.
It is.
Right? Is it like Petersburg, Oakford?
Yep, it is a consolidated district, a mid-60s.
Oh, okay, that long ago.
We have
okay.
5 communities. Every community used to have some sort of school. We closed the last one this summer.
Okay.
So now all the buildings are in Petersburg.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Matt,
Yep.
could you talk a little bit about your facilities that you have there at Petersburg, primarily about the swimming pool and the facilities that you offer that, you know, you got to get to Olympia before you get your next closest district with a swimming pool?
Well, we're pretty lucky. When the school did consolidate years ago, they did build a nice facility, 100,000 square foot plus high school facility with a pool. In the last 3 or 4 years, we've put in a 600 kilowatt wind turbine, retrofitted our building into geothermal. We save about $350,000 a year in our electrical savings. So again, efficiencies. Have a very progressive board who is willing to take on things like that, and that's paying off. Again, you have to have kids. You have to have kids, and to do what we want to do. So I mean, that's our primary goal. It's all about education. More than likely, we could consolidate with a school district, and from a financial standpoint, it might not be a better financial situation to have that school district, but it will be a better educational situation.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And we have lots of people who want to testify, so I'm going to be increasingly strict on the timeline.
Dave Moriak.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm going to take a little bit different spin than most of the individuals that have talked here. My name is Dave Moravec, and I represent a company called Integrity Schools. Our company is locally based here in Bloomington and provide data integration technology solutions, and I completely support what Jim is doing, Jim Peterson at the Illini Cloud. We've been in the school district, McLean County Unit 5, as parents for the last 8 years. Previously, we had been in District 300, just west of Carpentersville, in Hampshire, Illinois. Hampshire was a small community and a part of an extremely large school district, 300, approximately 20,000 students. We believe, my wife and I believe, that our students have gotten a tremendous education. My son is with me this afternoon. We have a 23-year-old at Illinois State University and a senior in high school. What I want to share is that I've spent a great deal of time looking at the school district numbers in the state. We haven't really talked about the difference in K-12 versus K-8 versus 9-12 high school districts, and I'd like to spend the time talking specifically about that. In other states around the country, specifically states like Louisiana and South Carolina, Florida, specifically in Virginia, they have county-based systems. Some of the states have as large as an average size in Florida of 40,000 students per district. I'm not suggesting that that's the case, but in Virginia, they have a combination of county-based and city-based districts based on the local control decisions that are best for them. Because we're a national company and I work with a variety of school districts and state people, I asked the Department of Education folks in Virginia to give me 3 bullet points that made sense to bring here to the committee. Their belief is that with a smaller amount of school districts, it's easier to carry out statewide initiatives and communicate state requirements. It's also easier to maintain personal contact with local data people. Here in the state, we've got 870 people that the Department of Technology or the Department of Ed has to communicate with. It's also easier to deploy statewide solutions that Jim is talking about. I think these will produce a significant cost savings and an incredible opportunity to streamline. Just a couple of examples in Illinois, and I know some people that are here. In Livingston County, which represents 12 school districts, 8 of those school districts are 500 students or less. One of those is under 100 students. And we've heard testimony today that smaller school districts don't necessarily provide the best education. Jefferson County has 17 school districts and 5,000 students across that county. The largest is Mount Vernon Elementary with approximately 1,400 students. 9 of those districts, 9, have less than 200 students. As I mentioned, I want to spend the majority of the rest of my time, what little I have, to talk about the school districts that are in a K-8 versus high school environment. In Ohio, the town of Ohio and Bureau County, they have a K-8 district that feeds into a single high school district. Total students is 122. In Washington, just to the west of us in Tazewell County, they have 3 elementary districts that feed into 1 high school district. 4 districts for the town of Washington. Do the people on one side of Washington have a different demographic of student that they shouldn't have they should have 3 different curriculum feeding into that high school? I came from Lyons Township in LaGrange. There's 5 elementary districts that feed into that. 5 different curriculums, 5 different IT closets. The data integration that comes from those 5 districts oftentimes isn't even looked at the high school level. Huge efficiencies can be created. I really do appreciate your time. I did provide a great deal of information, and thanks for your support.
Good, thank you. Any questions? All right, thank you very much. Can I borrow another piece of paper from you?
Dale Hastings.
It's a good thing I took a speed class so I can go through this real quick in my 4 minutes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm going to hold this so everybody can hear me. I've been struggling sitting out there listening to everyone. I have, like everyone else, I have prepared remarks that I'll let you read. I'm going to make just a few comments. I want to stay under my 3-4 minutes, and I'll get out of your hair. But just a couple of things. We talk about consolidation. I think you guys really have two choices and two things you have to do. You really have to figure out what are you really looking for. Do you want better education or cheaper education? And that's really tough. That's been thrown your way. It's one of the two. I represent, to give you a little bit of background of me, because I think I have a unique perspective on this. I'm a second-generation superintendent in Illinois. I was born in a town that all of you know now, but I think before, if you would have asked you 2 months ago, you probably wouldn't have heard of it except for two of you. And I can tell you that Dr. Clark and I know Dr. Leahy, I was born in Sorrento, Illinois, and in a little hospital called St. Joseph's Hospital in Highland, Illinois. And some of you know Sorrento now because they're a blue ribbon school this year, this little tiny ex-coal mining town. But anyway, my father was born there. Second generation superintendent. We've lived all over the state. West suburbs, where I was raised, Ottawa and LaSalle County. Highland, where I graduated. We rotated back. I was a bulldog my senior year, way back in the day. So I've lived all over the place. This is my 33rd year in public education. It's my 7th year as superintendent of Milford Public Schools. I am one of 8 dual district superintendents. You talk about efficiencies. I'm in a dual district that went from 2 superintendents to 1, 2 bookkeepers to 1, 4 secretarial staff to 2. We did all that. So I have 2 board meetings a month with 2 separate school boards. I have 2 collective bargaining processes that I go through every year. Both of my school districts do collective bargaining this year. I will have collective bargaining with 2 different districts at the same time. I have all of these things that we do. We're doing exactly what you want us to do. We are a school district in the last 25 years has gone through 4 consolidations. We have brought in whole or parts of 4 different school districts since 1987. Our school district has grown to 223 square miles along our eastern border, which Indiana is our eastern border. We are 32 miles from north to south. Yet our fund balances have grown each of the last 4 fiscal years. We are a financially recognized school with a 4.0 average at our high school and a 3.9 average at our grade school. I don't know what's wrong with me that we're not 4.0 there yet. We're doing very well. We just got a wind farm, 94 towers, $18.5 million of VAV is going to be pumped in. We're trying to build. We're in a high school that we moved into in 1912. We are using the original furnace. Now that's living cheap. Our furnace is 100 years old. Every day in the winter when I walk in, I cross my fingers and say, please not today. So we are doing what you've asked us to do. We are a prime example of that. I'm in a county that's the 3rd largest square mile landmass in the state. At one time, I'm hurrying, Lynn. At one time, we had 13 high schools in that county. We now have 6. At one time, there was right at 20 school districts. There's now 7. The point I'm trying to make is somewhere just before World War II, there were 2,000 school districts in Illinois. We now have 868. Just allow the democratic process to work. Allow people to figure it out. Allow people to see that they can't do or they don't want to fund it anymore. And it will happen. It's already happening and we're living through it. But please don't put in a process where you tell people what it is they're going to do, especially when those schools are doing very well. You can all look at our state report cards. We're an Illinois Lighthouse School District. We've won awards multiple times for academic achievement and turnaround schools. We've got all that stuff. Just check our website. I'm not going to bore you with that stuff. So it's done and it's being done when people that are dedicated really put their school improvement processes into place and keep their money fiscally flowing uphill. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Dale, what are the impediments that keep you from taking the 2 districts and making them 1?
Actually, we've been looking at, Mike, we've been looking at that for the last 2 years. Batted around the idea if we really want to look at it. I've done my own internal feasibility study on it without going outside on a third-party vendor to do it. What do we really save? I can tell you right now that we've streamlined our staff. We don't have fat. We've streamlined our staff down. That's why we're doing well fiscally, but we still do. We have all the same dual district things with DAC, Danville Area Community College that you've heard. We started a College First program this year with Kankakee Community College. So we have 3 of our kids that are full-time college students as seniors but still have their IHSA eligibility to play. We're doing all the things that you've heard of these dual district programs. We're doing all the same things. The reason why we haven't done it is we've already eliminated one of the superintendents. We've already eliminated the central office staff. And when we put everything else together, there's nothing we're going to eliminate. All of the administration, which we always hear about in consolidation, all the secretarial staff and all that stuff, we've already eliminated it. It's gone. Like the person that's inconvenienced on the deal is me. I just hope when I run into anybody in a meeting, by the time I get through the two collective bargaining agreement negotiations at the same time, and I can still make sentences. So that's why we haven't done it. I don't really see where, in fact, to be honest with you, it will cost us money. Because remember, when you do that, you have to take the highest salary schedule, and everybody goes to that highest salary schedule. It'll cost us $150K when we do that. The multiplier and the GSA formula, as you know, doesn't make that up enough going from that stuff. So that multiplier won't change that. We're going to lose money. It will cost us money to become a unit district. We're better off. The other thing is, if I have a second, I get to have 2 lease levies. When we become a unit district, I get 1 lease levy. I will lose 16 cents of tax rate by becoming a unit district from a dual district, because you don't automatically get to double those tax rates when you go from a dual district to unit district. As you guys shaking your head, yes, you know all that stuff. We're better off not becoming a unit district because I can make it happen dual district. Besides that, we have our administrative team meetings are all together anyway. We act like a unit district. We talk like a unit district. We're just not. That's why we haven't done it yet.
Yeah, thanks, Sheila. That's the answer I was looking for.
Okay.
In the state statute now, there's certain incentives that if you do consolidate, of course you know that because you have several times since '87. What would those incentives bring to the new combined district if you did bring?
Just did that last year. Thanks for asking. We get $1.385 million over 4 years would be our reorganizational incentive money, which is really a lovely amount of money. But now let's talk about sustainability. Yeah, so we have to talk about the sustainability of things, but $1.358 million over 4 years.
Okay. You answered my second question, which is after 4 years.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Robert Bagby.
Lieutenant Governor Simon and members of the Classroom's First Commission. My name is Robert Bagby. I'm Superintendent of Lincoln Community High School, number 404 in Lincoln. This isn't on my handout, but we also house Lincoln Technical Education Center, which is a vocational program that we share with 5 partnering schools. We have built a brand new house, 46 years in a row. We also house our own alternative education program that has graduated 13 students in the last year, and we partner with Lincoln College for dual credit classes. School consolidation continues to be a topic of great concern for many small rural school districts. While advocates for consolidation commonly cite fiscal savings, opponents have responded with evidence undermining this argument, and in our case, we would see a tremendous increase in transportation costs. As you are looking at ways to reorganize education and find further efficiencies in the educational systems, I'd like to share with you some of the current efforts of our school district in conjunction with our feeder school districts, as I am a dual district superintendent as well. Lincoln Community High School has 4 feeder school districts. They are Chester East Lincoln, Lincoln Elementary, New Holland, Middletown, and West Lincoln Broadwell. A reorganizational feasibility study was conducted during the fiscal year 2007, as mentioned earlier by Gene Anderson, Regional Superintendent of Schools. 4 years ago, this study was, when it was concluded, a net increase of almost $500,000 was projected for increased transportation costs and additional salary and benefit increases for all staff. Again, not a decrease, an increase of $500,000. Additionally, district tax rates would increase in 4 of the 5 school districts. For example, a taxpayer who owns a home valued at $100,000, that's taxed at 33%, as everyone knows. $33,000 times our tax rate is $765. If we were to consolidate into a unit school district, the increased tax burden would be $495. And that's again on a $100,000 home. Anybody that owns a home valued at more than that obviously would pay more. Based on these findings, our communities decided school district consolidation was not a viable option at that time. One good idea that came about as a result of this study was the creation of a cooperation committee. We coordinate pupil transportation, we do cooperative purchasing, we share staff, a common school calendar, shared professional development opportunities. We are aligning our curriculums and efforts beneficial to the community and individual school districts resulted in a successful campaign to gain voter approval for the county school facilities sales tax, commonly referred to as the 1-cent sales tax for education. The Board of Education of Lincoln Community High School has committed to using every dollar for property tax relief. Our tax rate will drop 16 cents. I'm personally not against consolidation or reorganization if the resulting changes make sense. In our case, school districts are working together to improve education in Logan County and at the same time share services and reduce costs. As you've heard today, local control, not a state mandate, best serves Logan County schools, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thanks very much.
Chad Wagner.
Good evening. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you tonight. My name is Chad Wagner. I'm the superintendent of a K-8 district of approximately 400 students, Oak Grove District 68 in Bartonville, Illinois. I'm here representing my board's opposition to forced consolidation. I just want to share with you briefly the successes of an elementary district of my size. This past year on our ISAT exams, Oak Grove scored the highest it has ever scored on standardized tests. We were at the 92% meets and exceeds in math, the 93% in reading. All this was happening while we were at our highest low income rate in history. Oak Grove District 68 has been the recipient of the Bright Star Award 3 years in a row. 2009, 10, and 11. This award is given to districts whose students' academic performance ranks in the upper 1/3 of Illinois school districts, but whose expenditure per pupil ranks in the lower 1/4 of Illinois school districts. They did a reorganizational study, if you can believe it, before my time, back in 2002 by Richard Wiggle, he had EDD from Illinois State University. They took into consideration the consolidation of the 8 elementary districts that fed into the high school district at Limestone. And they found the greatest inhibitor would be placing all of the newly formed district unit personnel on the high school schedule. It was estimated back in 2002 that that cost would be $896,591. This would have been an increase of approximately 40 cents on their taxes once the state incentives had gone away. And then just in closing, I was going to be the briefest I had hoped. The Board of Oak Grove feels that forced consolidation takes local control away from its communities. Parents and our community members take pride in our children, in our schools, and in our recent successes. They don't believe that consolidation is a bad thing. However, they believe it should happen by choice, not through a legislative effort to force change where it may not be needed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, thanks very much.
Mark Hetzmanberger.
Lieutenant Governor Simon and distinguished members of the Classroom First Commission, I want to thank you for the opportunity to address the Commission today. I applaud the efforts to collect information and input regarding the important issues of school district consolidation and how to effectively achieve educational excellence in our public schools. I'm here today to tell you what you probably already know, that a one-size-fits-everyone solution is not feasible in a state as diverse as Illinois. There's no magic enrollment number. I'm the superintendent of a K-8 school district in Odell in north central Illinois. We have only 175 students, but we achieve educational excellence. Consider that. We have always met adequate yearly progress standards set for us by the United States Department of Education and the No Child Left Behind legislation, and not a single student was an academic warning in any subject matter last year on the Illinois Standard Achievement Test. We also have kept our fiscal house in order, as evidenced by the fact that we have no outstanding debt, we're doing a building addition without raising taxes or borrowing money, and our tax rate is only 3.24%. It may sound like I'm bragging about our school district, and I guess I am to a degree, because we are very proud of our school administrators, teachers, and staff that are so committed to providing the best possible education to the children of our community. Our school board has done an outstanding job of being responsible with taxpayer money and making sound decisions. The real point I'm making here is that bigger is not always better. Each school district is its own unique entity and should be judged by several criteria, including academic achievement and fiscal stability. School consolidation is an issue that has such far-ranging impact on communities and families that it should require very careful study. The ultimate decision to consolidate must be left in the hands of the citizens of the affected communities. I invite any of you to come to my school and see how we do things effectively. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right, thanks very much.
Andrew Wise.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and since you've already had one chance to talk with us, we're going to give you a little bit less time here today.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'll make my comments brief. My name is Andrew Wise. I'm the Business and Operations Manager with the Olympia School District. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to speak. Since many of you have heard my testimony already and the PowerPoint is on the Classrooms First website, I will keep my comments brief. Olympia School District was formed in the late 1960s when 8 individual K-12 school districts came together and decided that their students would have greater opportunity if they joined together as one district. The individual districts covered 377 square miles, making Olympia's merger one of the first of its kind. The consolidation was financed through federal title dollars, state incentives, local fund balances, and a bond issue to build a brand new K-12 facility, which was strategically placed right in the center of the new 377 square mile district. Over time, as enrollment decreased in rural America, Olympia had to close some facilities. We have reorganized in the past several times. Through our reorganization, we have come across several efficiencies, including efficiencies within district facilities, staff costs, transportation costs, efficiencies within the school day, efficiencies within planning, our systems, our technology, and by joining cooperatives, all of which are included inside the PowerPoint that is on the Classrooms First website. Olympia's consolidation and reorganization over the years has been successful because it has been a local decision. Cost savings and efficiencies have been created via the consolidation. However, the primary focus of the school district has always been to increase learning opportunities for its students. If consolidation is going to be successful in Illinois, the Governor, House, and Senate must work together to restore transportation funding, as transporting students is a byproduct of consolidation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, thanks very much.
Jim Peterson.
I think we already heard from Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, first one.
Mark Johntree.
Lieutenant Governor Simonson and esteemed members of the panel, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Mark Johntree, and I'm the Regional Superintendent for DeWitt, Livingston, and McLean counties, and welcome to our county. I wanted to touch on a couple of points and reiterate some things that you've already heard. The Regional Office of Education helped facilitate a lot of the consolidation studies, if not all, that occur throughout the state. We're there to help facilitate the study, the recommendation, and the implementation of these consolidations as they've occurred. And I'm here to tell you that I think what is in school code, what already exists in school code, is fairly sufficient to facilitate voluntary school consolidation as opposed to forced school consolidation. In the past 10 years, we have had numerous consolidation issues come about in our 3-county region. Most recently, Flanagan-Cornell. became the first hybrid district under the changes that occurred in Section 11E of the school code, and that was facilitated. The other things that I would reinforce that you've heard relative to Mr. Wise's testimony is that you cannot force consolidation over a wide geographic area. It becomes a detriment to the educational programming as you go forward. In my region, I have 2 of the 5 largest geographic school districts in this state. They approach 400 square miles. Your travel times for your kids are fairly substantial now at the junior and senior high school level. That's something to be very aware of as you move forward. So I would reiterate to the commission to have that consideration. Moving forward, I would just say that we as regional office continue to help support many of the things that you've heard today in terms of shared services. I'm not going to go back through them, but we also are engaged in other activities that are related to education reform. As you're probably aware, principal preparation rules have changed. They're going to be significant. Part of that requires the universities that are going to provide those programs to enter into agreements with the school district, provide the mentoring, the internship. We are examining a process where we might enter into an agreement through our regional office to serve all of our school districts with Illinois State University. That's just one example of the efficiencies that we need to look at as we move forward. The last 2 things I will leave you with, many of you are probably aware of the Streamlined Task Force report that was generated 1 year ago this month. I know it's part of your resources that you have available. I would encourage you to examine that and look at what we can do for streamlining educational services at the regional level. Additionally, I would ask you to acquaint yourself with the Instructional Mandates Task Force report that was delivered in June. Representative Eddy was on that task force as well as being a member of this group. The recommendations in there deal with educational mandates. I would also put to you that not only would you look at what is in the report, but think about the next step. Look at what other mandates can we make permissive. And if a district chooses to offer some of those educational offerings, let that decision be made at the local level, because that ultimately will impact your staffing levels at the local level. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, is one of those exemptions the hiring of a superintendent if you hire 4 teachers? Is that one of the waivers you're talking about?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, you were just talking about efficiencies and looking at different things, and that's why I was posing the question. Under the code, if you hire 4 teachers, you're supposed to hire a superintendent, so I was asking if that was one of the waivers that you're talking about.
I was probably looking more at the number of instructional mandates that you have. For example, I'm just going to use it as an example. You have any number of mandates that I would put under the social studies history category. They're in that report. Are they all necessary? And I guess my point would be, are we going to assess them? Are they going to be part of our common core standards? If we're not going to assess them, should they be mandated? If a local district chooses to provide that instruction, that's fine. But is that something we should mandate going forward if we're not going to assess it?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Tim Dotson.
Good evening. My name is Tim Dotson. I am the superintendent at Limestone Walters. We're a K-8 district in Peoria, Illinois. And I may be one of the few that also went to school at Limestone Walters and a graduate. So to be able to be the superintendent of a school that you grew up in is not always maybe the case. Walking the halls, I'm not sure that was my first thought. I think I really wanted to be the shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals, but that didn't work out. So, but here, I would like to talk about consolidation. And when I looked at one of the comments I was going to make tonight, I kind of looked in 3 areas. Educational program that we offer, what our finances are, and what are some of the awards that we received. We feel that we do a great job at Limestone Walters, and we value what we do, as many of the school districts that have spoken here before. But if we look at the educational program for our district, we've met AYP every year. We're in the 90th percentile in both math and reading. We offer Reading Recovery, which is a first grade program that helps kids that need that extra help for reading. We offer art, music, band, chorus, and as many educational field trips as we're able. We have expanded extracurricular activities that include sports, but also scholastic bowl, speech, and math counts. Probably 95% of our kids participate in one of those endeavors. And I feel that if consolidation were to be something that is mandated, I feel that some kids will lose an opportunity to be able to participate at the K-8 level. Not everyone's going to go on to the next level. This is a chance for them to do so. Our finances, we've been financial recognition for several years. We have positive fund balances in all our accounts. We have no debt. And in fact, we hope to add on 2 classrooms, as another district talked about today, without asking for bonds, and also not raising the tax rate. And in fact, our tax rate's been lower the last 2 or 3 years. We're well below the state expenditure per pupil. We talked about efficiencies with the area districts. Mr. Wagner is one of my fellow colleagues that we do things together. We collaborate on professional development. We share a band teacher and a music teacher with 2 other districts. And why is that significant? Those are full-time positions. If we weren't able to do that, and with jobs being what they are, especially teaching positions, those would not be existent. Transportation is significant. We contracted out with the area school districts to save, in our district alone, we'll save $20,000. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but it is to our district, plus the fact with the state's situation with transportation, it's even more important that we were able to do that. We save on supplies, food, anywhere that we can for our resources. We also have been fortunate to receive the Bright Star Award in 2011, 10, 9, and we also received the Bright Star A+ Award in 2011, 2010. We understand the great task is in front of this committee, but we do also echo the same comments in the fact that we want this to be a local decision, something that other districts, when they come, and it's best for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thanks very much.
Judith Webster.
I'm not a superintendent or regional office. I'm a member of the community. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, big school districts. Went to school in Chicago. Came down here because I liked small town. I work with our school board, District 87. I also work with teacher certification at ISU. And the main thing I want the commission to kind of really look at, as one of the other speakers says, we can't do a one-size-fits-all. We have rural communities where we have low populations and the kids are spread out because of farms, mining, the geographics. You've got Chicago and big cities where you have a lot of kids in a small area, almost in too big of school districts. You've got suburban, which is a totally different headset for kids growing up and how the school districts handle. And then you have small towns, which I consider Bloomington, where you've got a mixture of that urban and rural area. And when you go to look at how you're going to consolidate or not consolidate, you really need to specify, if you're in a rural area, these are the guidelines, these are the incentives, this is what we want to achieve. If you're in a suburban area, this is a different set of rules that you want to be looking at. I know prior to my moving down here, we've had talks of Unit 5 and 87, Normal and Bloomington, merging. And a lot of it came down to finance because of different pay scales, property taxes, and different headsets. I'm very proud of 87 because we have a very good, diverse demographics and a very big push for excellence, but we also have a unique headset that deals with our demographics, which is different from Normal right across the street from us. And we do really need for the state when they're looking at it to consider, we know our communities, we know our people, we know our students, we know what we're preparing them for and what we need, and the state needs to give us the flexibility to acknowledge those differences and to consider our consolidating of Unit 5 and 87 is going to be a lot different than taking Township District 214 up in Mount Prospect and making it consolidate with the elementary schools that feed into it, or taking school districts down in Cairo, Illinois, or down in the southern end and trying to get them to consolidate where they're going to end up having the kids on buses longer than they're going to be in the school.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. We've got 6 folks who yet wish to testify, and we're going to try and squeeze everyone in, and if we have to, at 6:30, I will allow everyone to leave politely who needs to, but we'll keep going until we hear from everyone.
Eric Bush is next.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant Governors, members of the panel. I didn't know this was about consolidation. Nobody told me, sorry. I'm actually here with a couple of ideas. I'm the business manager for Unit 5 here in Bloomington Normal. Quickly, I worked for a city manager once that gave me the 3 Bs. Be brilliant, be brief, and be gone. So I'll try to hit 2 of those 3. One, I'd like some consideration given to focusing dollars on intervention, remediation, and at-risk programs. The current funding system for those 3 programs are often confusing and untargeted statewide. Dollars not spent here create greater costs down the line. I think we all know that not adequately funding early childhood can certainly increase costs later on in that child's life. Second, I recommend, or would suggest, that the state go to a 2-year funding system for education. So when we're going into our budget seasons, we have some degree of certainty of what's going to happen for us, so we can get to prioritized budget decisions instead of a sort of seat of the pants kind of program we have now. Third is specifically dealing with food service programs. I'd like to see a system where instead of dictating exactly what requirements we must live by, that there's goals recommended for our food service programs, and thereby giving us some autonomy on making those decisions. There's only one material food co-op in the state of Illinois. I'd like to see some competition in that area open up, and perhaps screening of those types of services be more or less bureaucratic. This would, in my opinion, give more access and opportunity to particularly downstate districts. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eric. Questions? All right, Eric, thanks for those good ideas.
Ryan Linig.
Good evening, Lieutenant Governor Simon and the members of the commission. I'm going to shorten this up because a lot of the points that I was going to make this evening have been covered by others, and I know we're on a short schedule. What I want to say is that I'm here representing a small rural school district, K-8 district in LaSalle County. We have only 110 students in our district. Much has been said about the lack of opportunities that are provided to students in many small rural school districts, and I just want to come here tonight and give you examples of how that is not necessarily the case. In the school district that I work for, we, in 2004, constructed a brand new facility with no help whatsoever from the state of Illinois. It was all done with local dollars. That facility has been expanded upon twice. Most recently, we're working on a 5,600 square foot addition. Again, none of those funds coming from the state of Illinois. For a small K-8 school district, We offer the latest in technology, a top-notch, high-quality core program. We offer a K-8 bilingual program. We also offer all of the typical programs in music, sports, and extracurriculars that other districts offer. As part of this most recent addition, my district will be adding yet another piece of the puzzle, which is a STEM lab, a science, technology, engineering, and math lab that we will not only offer to our students, but other students in the region. One of the efficiencies that we're speaking of. We want to be able to share that resource with others. My district has managed to make 92% meets or exceeds on all tests, 100% in science, and I would like to invite any member of the commission to please come and check out our school and tour it to see what some of the small rural school districts do offer. We've managed to do all of these things, as I said earlier, without much assistance from the state. The 2011 Illinois school report card data shows that the average contribution of the state of Illinois is at 22.4% of the funding for the schools. Our school receives only 4%. When we're looking for that optimal number that I see as a goal and a part of this commission's, what it's seeking to find, unfortunately, there is no answer. It depends. It depends on demographics, finances, educational opportunities, the level of academic success, truancy rate, mobility rate, contributions by state, federal, and local dollars, among a few. You also have to look at the sheer size of a district. We have 45 square miles in our district, and already our students ride the bus for nearly an hour every day, which is not an easy task for a kindergartner. What we ask is that the commission please be open-minded and consider consolidation to be a local decision, not one that is going to be handed down by the state of Illinois. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
What was the name of your school district?
It's Dimmick Consolidated School District, number 175.
And with whom are you consolidated?
My district was made up of 9 small one-room schoolhouses back in the 30s and 40s.
Would you say you're offering a better education now than what the kids did back then?
From a one-room schoolhouse, yes.
Okay.
But I think that we are competitive with anybody in our area, and I would argue with anybody in the state in terms of the opportunities we provide our students.
Now, did I hear you right, though, about you built a new school in 2004?
That is correct.
And you've expanded it twice since then?
Yes, we did a locker room addition, again, without any additional assistance, and right now we're under construction with a 5,600 square foot addition that will house the STEM lab and space for our specialties programs.
And the total enrollment is?
110.
To do all of that and only have 4% of the funds coming from the state, you're obviously local controlled, locally funded.
Exactly.
So what is it in your district? Is it do you have a power plant?
No, we don't. We have a commercial center that is located within our district. The commercial percentage pays about 74% of our total bill. Again, we are 92% locally funded.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Rod Grimsley.
Thanks for having me here tonight. You guys kind of look like that junior U.S. history class I had. After talking to them for an hour, you guys kind of like glazed look on your face. I'm also here tonight to represent Gifford Community Consolidated School District 188. Didn't want to stand up here in a shirt and a tie. I wanted to wear school colors so that way maybe you can remember Gifford is purple and gold. Gifford is a consolidated of the towns of Gifford and Penfield in northeast Champaign County. We currently serve grades K through 8 with enrollment of 201 students. When our students graduate from Gifford Grade School, they either attend Rantoul Township High School or Armstrong Potomac High School. The following are some facts that myself and our school board would like you to take into consideration before you make consolidation decisions. I am a dual role administrator. I'm the principal and superintendent, and I only have one office assistant to help the daily operations. We are a Bright Star Award-winning school, which has been mentioned before. We received that award because of our high academic scores and our low operating costs. Last year, we were at 91% on ISAT tests, and our operating costs were $7,900 per student. The average in the state of Illinois was around $11,000. Our parental involvement is great. We have 100% parental involvement in our school during the school year of our parents. We also received a certificate of financial recognition from the State Board of Education, which is the highest level that they give out. We also have positive fund balances in all 10 accounts. That just shows that our school board has been very fiscally sound over the course of time and managing the funds that they have available. The last thing is we have great community support for education, not only from the communities, from the day-to-day operations at Gifford and at Penfield, but in 2004, the communities passed a building referendum for $1.57 million, which enabled us to make some adjustments to a building that was 40 years old, and it's shown a lot of pride in our community, but we were able to add some new things at that time. Based upon the report given by Derflinger and Hafley, excuse me if I pronounced that wrong, from Illinois State University, the board and myself believe that we are in a Tier 4 district, no academic or financial difficulties, so we would prefer that as you start to look at consolidation in the future, that you leave Gifford Grade School off of that list and allow us to keep operating like we have in the past. So we'd really appreciate that. One thing that I will say is I've worked in 6 different schools in the state of Illinois, and I can tell you that there are places in the state of Illinois that do need some consolidation. There's also others that do not. So unfortunately, I do not feel like a one-size-fits-all are going to work, and you guys have a real tough task ahead of you getting through the rest of this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Questions? Okay. And let me note for the record, it is now 6:30, and everyone who has to be somewhere else and has to leave can sneak out without feeling any guilt whatsoever at this point if you want to. But we'll continue to hear from other folks.
All right, we got 3 more, so.
Way to go.
John Ticknor.
John, did you leave already?
No, he's coming.
Okay, good.
I felt like a fish swimming upstream. Thank you for the opportunity to come and talk to you today. I'm John Ticknor. I'm superintendent of Washington Grade School District 52 in Washington, Illinois. Washington has 4 school districts in the town of about 14,000, 3 elementary districts that have 800 plus students in each one, and a high school district of 1,200. We total about 4,000 students that we serve together. A couple things I want to mention is that each school district is financially sound. We all receive financial recognition year after year, but most importantly, each school district is academically sound. We provide an excellent education for our students, and I've heard people talk over and over about Bright Star Awards and high ISAT scores, and yes, we have all of those. I will go quickly through my points here because you've heard so many of them before from other districts, but I just want to just echo again some of those things. As superintendents, having 4 superintendents in one township, we do regularly meet to talk about students and the needs of students, because the idea is that 3 elementary school districts need to provide the same kind of opportunities for their students in their K-8 districts as they move into one high school, and so we work together to be able to do that. We share a special education department. We talk about calendar each year because Christmas and spring break are very important to schedule together. We are also right now in the midst of a consolidation feasibility study. We're taking a look at it. Is this something that makes academic sense and financial sense for our area? We also, in the K-8 districts, we share a health insurance plan. And finally, and most importantly, as 4 superintendents, we talk about the needs of our students. And just recently, the past 8 months or so, we had a plan on the table that we were going to work on a K-12 power standards for all of our districts, so that we would be ensuring that all of our kids were receiving those essential elements at each single grade level. Now, we were going to base that on the Illinois Learning Standards. Common Core comes in, sort of changes the ball, but even though we've stopped that process, the desire is still there to create that same kind of consistency for each school district. I also have a few board members with me tonight, and as a board, they are privileged to be able to serve the students of District 52 and appreciate the opportunity to be able to have that local decision and local control, and they wanted me to pass that on. The final thing I would like to say is I've had some unique experiences in my career. I served as a teacher in Texas in a district of over 30,000. I was then in a large unit school district here in Illinois as the principal and assistant superintendent, and now I have the privilege of being in Washington as a superintendent of an elementary district. What I can tell you is that as I have watched these other districts, the high schools tend to absorb all of the energy and resources of the board and administration, not because of any written rule, just because of the nature of the beast. And at the K-8 level, when we're a elementary district, we truly can focus on the needs of the students. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right, thanks very much.
Patrick Martin.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Martin, and I'm the superintendent at Washington District 50 Schools. Like Dr. Tigner, District 50 is a dual K-8 district in Washington. With me today are several members of my Board of Education as well. Washington District 50 Schools enrolls approximately 800 students, with the majority of those students, roughly 53%, qualifying for free and reduced lunch. As Dr. Tigner alluded to during his remarks, we are currently in the process of a feasibility study looking at consolidation to see if that is both an academic appropriate decision for our community as well as one that is economically feasible. With an eye on efficiency, I feel that as an administrator I have had the opportunity to work within two configurations that utilized an approach towards the sharing of services that ultimately led to the benefiting of students. Dr. Tigner spoke to our shared collaboration of both academic planning and operational costs in Washington. One of these examples that he spoke of was the shared insurance pool for all of our dual districts in Washington for all of our employees. But as former high school principal and superintendent of the 1989 Consolidated Illini Central School District, this type of sharing for efficiencies was a key component for our academic program. As Commission member Jason Leahy of the IPA, who I had the distinct pleasure of following as principal at Illini Central High School, can attest, several measures were taken to provide services that may not have otherwise been available to our students. Area districts in the Logan, Mason, and Menard County regions pooled services for vocational programs, core academic programs, alternative educational services, special education services, and professional development. Key to this academic model of sharing and at the hub of coordination was our Regional Office of Education and our Regional Superintendent, Gene Anderson, who I believe spoke earlier this evening. I find it imperative that if Commission members have not read the task force report on streamlining Illinois' educational delivery systems pursuant to Public Act 96-1798, they do so. One of the key elements of this report, and highlighted as a general principle, is the notion that Regional Office of Educations and intermediate service centers take the lead in coordinating all educational services in their region. By doing so, they keep their eye on maximizing resources and increasing efficiencies. This is directly taken from that report. Though not a direct topic of this commission, the fate of these offices will be determined this month and next I know firsthand of several outstanding educators who have stepped away from regional leadership positions or have contemplated it due to unknown circumstances surrounding their office. This does not align with this earlier commission's report. In speaking to the commission's charge of addressing financial benefits associated with consolidation, I encourage commission members to look through the recommendations of Bob Hall and Donna McCall in a January 2004 Western Illinois University report. As stated by these researchers, while Illinois may no longer afford the luxury of over 892, today that stands at 866, separate independent school districts, reorganization by itself, even with financial incentives, is not the solution to current school finance problems. After the incentive money is spent, reorganized districts can find themselves in financial difficulties, like all other districts in Illinois, because of the lack of adequate financial support. The state must decide what educational opportunities will be afforded each child in Illinois, and then ensure that the organization and fiscal capacity is there to support it. These researchers go on to outline additional reorganization incentives needed in the state based on the recommendation of EFAB. However, one concern that we as a local district have regarding incentives is if the state of Illinois were to move from the current 866 school district configuration to one with only 300 school districts, as was recommended earlier in the year, would the state be able to make good on its issuance of reorganization incentive money? In looking at the potential for increased salary and benefit contributions and aligning with our high school district and the potential for automatic loss of levying power, the acquisition of these funds would be a must in our decision to reorganize. Currently, according to Lynn Heifley's presentation dated September 29th, there are 12 districts considering reorganization in 2011. With the backlog of bills currently owed by the state, our contention would become, when would we expect to receive incentive money, and how would this process be impacted if more districts were strongly urged to follow suit? And you can read the rest of the report there on my page. I will finish by saying again, thank you very much for your time and concentration on the academic elements involved in this process. We hope that this panel will continue to avoid political solutions to educational problems.
Okay, thanks very much, and thanks for supplying us the testimony in writing. We appreciate that. All right, one more person to go, right, Crystal?
We are on our last speaker, and if you decided while you were sitting here that you wanted to sign up, unfortunately we don't have time to add you, but come see me after the hearing and I will try to get some written testimony from you, okay? Our last person is Mark Cross.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I don't know if it's good or bad to be last, but I'll try to do a fabulous job to wrap it up. As I like to say, I'm Mark Cross. I'm the superintendent of Peru Elementary School District, and as I like to say, I run a business, an enterprise, for an educational delivery system for 1,040 students. We have 125 employees. We're one of the largest employers in our community, and we do it for an administrative cost in our district, an elementary district, of less than 3% of total costs. Not too many businesses, when I talk to my great friends in the business community, say their businesses can run at that expense. They're amazed when we discuss this because we love to talk about that. When he's announcing his FY12 budget, Governor Quinn referenced saving the state of Illinois $100 million with the idea of school district consolidation. To be honest, and with all due respect, where this number comes from is a mystery to me, as it is many people. As those of us who truly understand school finance, the honest truth is that forced consolidation will usually cost more. It is a myth that consolidation is a money saver, and in particular that it saves the state money. Consolidation has not and will not save the state of Illinois any dollars. I'm yet to hear anyone who can show anywhere in the state budget where money will be saved. Quite the opposite, from consolidation incentives to increased transportation costs. That seems strange at first, but shedding a little light on the situation will make it quite clear. The general state aid formula, the largest funding system for the state, is not impacted by local staffing needs or the number of buildings, the number of teachers, the number of administrators, teacher aides, cooks, bus drivers, etc. It is based solely on the total number of students, actually, their daily attendance, and a not too complex formula that factors in local wealth and number of students living in poverty. Nowhere in the formula is there an input for the number of staff or school buildings. Therefore, the actual decrease or increase in the general state aid formula will remain unchanged. So the results of any savings locally through consolidation, shared services, or other means has absolutely nothing to do with the saving the state money. In fact, it's likely to cost more for the reasons that we already touched on. I always say, show me a district where total expenditures or expenditures per pupil actually decreased after a voluntary consolidation, let alone a forced consolidation. Also, there's not too much evidence that it saves local taxpayers money either, although they do pay most of the bill for local schools and should have that decision. Unless a significant number of staff is laid off or buildings closed, then there's nothing in terms of actual savings, and costs otherwise rise for any number of reasons. If we have less superintendents, as a superintendent, I'm all for it. I'd be the first to say that I go if you can actually save the district money. But by the time you put our salary schedule together with the local high school, I wish I made that money, but I don't. I'm not even close. It'll far exceed any cost savings in administration. And also, I think we need to ask ourselves, since when is bigger better? If huge school districts were the model for educational excellence and financial efficiencies, then we wouldn't be meeting today because this would already be done. The fact is, most large school districts try very, very hard to create a smaller school environment with concepts such as schools within schools, decreasing class sizes to lower grade levels, and doing whatever they can to sell that they're not that big. There's a reason for that. Incentivizing school district reorganization and providing local avenues of control is critical, particularly since it is the local taxpayers who largely fund our districts. Local taxpayers primarily fund the districts, so please give those taxpayers the final say in what happens to the districts. Whether we're advocating for children or for taxpayers, and we should all be doing both, forced consolidation will benefit neither. Thank you very much for the opportunity for everybody to present today.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right, thanks very much, and thanks to those who have stuck around this long. I very much appreciate it, and we will all still get to hear the Cardinals on the radio as we leave. Any final comments from any of the commissioners? Okay. Well, thank you very much, and stay in touch with us by the website and any other means. Thank you.